So here we have a quadratic where we have a value equals k, b value equals 1. We can imagine a 1 out in front, even though it's not written, and c equals k. And remember, the number of x-intercepts is based on the sign of the discriminant. The discriminant is b squared minus 4ac. That comes from the bit of the quadratic equation underneath the root. So we have either 0, 1, or 2 x-intercepts. We have 0 x-intercepts when the quadratic is above the x-axis or below the x-axis. If the vertex is right on the x-axis somewhere, it's just 1 x-intercept. And we'd have 2 x-intercepts where the parabola intersects the x-axis. Review for most people. So when do we have no roots or no x-intercepts? That's when the part of the quadratic equation under the square root is negative. So when our discriminant is less than 0, remember the quadratic equation, this part is our discriminant. So remember, when we have a negative under the root, we cannot evaluate it further, and there are no solutions. So that's no solutions means no x-intercepts. One x-intercept comes from when we have a 0 under the root, because we're adding 0 and subtracting 0. So that doesn't give us 2 x values, we'd only have 1 x value. And finally, we'd have 2 solutions or 2 x-intercepts when the discriminant is positive or greater than 0. So let's see each case. When we'd have no solutions, it's less than 0. When we have 1 solution, equals 0. And when we have 2 solutions, it's greater than 0. We'll use the same value for each discriminant. B squared minus 4ac is 1 squared minus 4 times k, which would evaluate to 1 minus 4k squared. And so that's the same for all of these, you could see. So we'll just save some time, copy and paste it here. And we're solving for less than 0 and greater than 0. Solving for each one, less than -1. Remember to reverse the direction of the inequality when we change the sign on the variable. So we have 4k squared becomes greater than +1. K squared is greater than 1/4. Square rooting both sides, we'd have k is greater than plus or minus 1/2. And so we can do that for each of the others. So for the discriminant less than 0, this is where we have 0 x-intercepts. Where the discriminant is equal to 0, we have 1 x-intercept. When k is 1/2, for example, so if this was 1/2. And when discriminant is greater than 0, that's when we have 2 solutions or 2 x-intercepts.